it is almost like borderline disturbing how acclimated everyone has gotten to the idea that, you know what, I've got 700, I've got 1,000, I've got all these dollar figures that other people say, hey, that's my rent.
Edmunds just dropped a bombshell that shocked the entire car industry. They've shared insights so groundbreaking, they have everyone doing a double take about automotive marketing. Forget just crunching numbers. They've highlighted trends that could completely shift our perspective on cars. So what's the scoop, and why should car buyers and manufacturers alike be all ears? Is this the game changer that might reshape the automotive world forever? Facing the facts. Edmunds has been the leading automotive research and review company that has always been known for their unbiased, in-depth analysis of the latest vehicles on the market, but their newest move has left the entire car industry reeling. If you're thinking about buying a car, you can't ignore the stark reality unfolding right before our eyes. An eye-popping 73% of Americans now deem the prospect of purchasing a vehicle completely unattainable. This statistic isn't just a number, it echoes the disappointment and anxiety of individuals and families facing significant financial hurdles. To add another layer to this already complicated picture, there exists a staggering divide between what consumers expect to spend and what they are actually confronted with when they decide to take the plunge into car ownership. What's really happening in the market? Well, let me explain, but before we dive into the details, take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel. The price paradox. According to the survey, a whopping 48% of new car shoppers are determined to keep their spending to $35,000 or less on their next vehicle. That's a sizable chunk of the market. Even more intriguing is that 14% of those buyers are aiming to drive off in a car for $20,000 or less, which certainly shows a keen interest in snagging a great deal. But hold on to your hats, because reality tells a starkly different story. Let's dive deeper into the numbers. The average transaction price for new vehicles is hovering around $47,716. Can you believe it? That's an eye-opening figure, especially when you consider how aggressively many shoppers want to keep their spending in check. To add insult to injury, if you're hoping to find a new car for under $20,000, well, you might be in for a disappointment. There are practically zero transactions taking place below that mark. When eager prospective buyers step into dealerships with expectations of cruising away in their dream cars while sticking to their budgets, they're often greeted by the harsh and discouraging reality of the current car market. It's not just a letdown, it can leave them feeling completely defeated and questioning their entire approach to car shopping. Given all this, it's almost as if potential buyers need to rethink their entire strategy when it comes to car shopping. The reality check they face is one steeped in financial limitations and the stark contrasts of market prices. Suddenly, riding off into the sunset in that flashy new car becomes a distant dream. Buyers are now faced with the undeniable challenge of recalibrating their expectations if they want to find any joy in their vehicle search. How on earth did we end up in this situation? What's behind this insane price hike? Pricey rides. Since 2019, the average cost of a new car has shot up by around 30%. We're talking about an average price that's now sitting at a jaw-dropping $48,000. This incredibly steep climb in prices isn't just a stroke of bad luck. It's a complex issue rooted in a myriad of tangible disruptions that have shaken the market to its core. The COVID-19 pandemic set off a chain reaction of supply chain challenges that continue to echo throughout the industry. As if that weren't enough, inflationary pressures have infiltrated everything we buy: groceries, gas, and yes, even those shiny new vehicles we all want. To top it all off, we've witnessed a resurgence in consumer demand that has created a perfect storm of complications. As consumer confidence begins to bounce back, people are eager to get behind the wheel of a new vehicle. But unfortunately, this heightened desire is colliding violently with the reality of limited supplies and soaring costs. Speaking of supply, it's critical to address the inventory challenges that dealerships across the nation are grappling with. Back in the days, North American inventory levels have comfortably floated between 3 and 4 million cars. That's a solid amount to choose from. However, recent projections indicate that we might be heading straight into a new norm, with those inventory levels dropping down to about 2.5 million units. This dramatic decrease in available vehicles only worsens the situation, further inflating prices as the unmet demand drives costs costs ever higher. It truly feels like a perfect storm for shoppers. With fewer cars on the lot, competition among buyers intensifies, and everyone is left reevaluating just how much they're willing to spend for the vehicles they desire. Now let's switch gears and talk about the growing financial pressures that are building up like a balloon on the verge of bursting. Interest rates are on the uptick, which means that many consumers are now grappling with monthly payments that are becoming increasingly untenable. It's staggering to realize that about 15% of new vehicle buyers are financing cars while dealing with monthly payments that exceed $1,000. Just take a moment to imagine the strain that puts on household budgets. That's akin to adding an extra mortgage payment onto an already stretched financial situation. For a lot of shoppers, these inflated costs transform from mere inconveniences into significant obstacles, compelling them to fundamentally reassess their budgets and explore new options entirely. As we delve deeper into this issue, we encounter one of the more enlightening aspects of the current car market: the glaring disconnect between consumer expectations and market realities. This disconnect isn't merely a matter of numbers on a page, it's a very real part of the car buying experience that leaves countless potential buyers feeling utterly baffled. Imagine walking into a dealership with dreams of driving off in your ideal vehicle, only to discover that the prices are far beyond your expectations. It's a frustrating situation that can dampen enthusiasm and lead to a sense of defeat. What's particularly alarming is how this disconnect can manifest itself in the mindset of buyers. Many shoppers enter the market with a clear vision of what they want and how much they're willing to spend, but when confronted with the stark realities of pricing, they often find themselves in a state of shock. Have you ever gone shopping for something you thought would be an easy find, only to be met with a hefty price tag that sends you reeling? It's a scenario that is playing out repeatedly in dealerships across the country. And to top it all off, it's not just the new cars that are feeling the heat. There's more to this story. Let me break it down for you. The used car market. The landscape of the used car market has morphed into a daunting labyrinth for consumers navigating through it. Imagine this scenario. Prices are surging upward at an alarming rate, while relentless economic pressures create what feels like an insurmountable obstacle course. Recent data reveals a jaw-dropping statistic. Almost half of all prospective car buyers believe they need to take on a second job just to afford a used vehicle. This eye-opening revelation highlights the severity of the situation. Despite whispers of improved affordability in the new car market, the reality remains stark and unyielding in the used car sector. Many buyers are left feeling profoundly disillusioned as they face a slew of challenges that seem to multiply by the day. The trends there are pretty similar, painting a less than rosy picture for budget-conscious buyers. Many hopeful purchasers are also setting their sights on spending less than $20,000 on used vehicles. However, only about 5% of transactions recorded in July 2023 fell within that desired price range. Let that sink in. While buyers are on the hunt for affordable options, the harsh statistics indicate that the market simply isn't delivering. Simultaneously, the average transaction price for used cars has skyrocketed to approximately $26,936. The disparity between what consumers wish for and what the market actually provides is further straining their search for good deals. One significant factor contributing to this disillusionment is the stark contrast between consumer expectations and the harsh reality of the market. The average age of traded-in vehicles has now exceeded 6 years. This alarming statistic compounds the problem. It paints a picture of a market where outdated pricing paradigms influence consumer expectations far too heavily. We are living in a time when many eager buyers cling to the past as a benchmark for what fair prices should look like. Unfortunately, this is leading them down a path of disappointment when they finally step into a dealership or browse online. Now, let's pivot our focus over to the job market. If you dive a little deeper into the economic landscape, it becomes painfully clear that financial strain is bearing down on consumers. The urgent need to seek additional sources of income has become a glaring reality for many individuals. The relentless hike in costs tied to purchasing a used vehicle resonates with countless families and individuals alike. But the pressures don't stem solely from the automotive industry. No, my friends, the phenomenon of inflation is crushing wallets in every nook and cranny of daily life. Just step back and think about the mounting costs of everyday essentials. Think groceries, housing, childcare. These expenses are skyrocketing, leaving consumer budgets gasping for breath as disposable income dwindles. It's no surprise then that a growing number of people contemplate picking up second jobs just to make ends meet, let alone invest in a car. Moreover, let's zero in on the harsh truth surrounding rising prices in the used car market. Over the past several years, the average price of used vehicles has soared, leaving many consumers scratching their heads, bewildered about where they can find affordable options. It's a pretty bleak reality when reports indicate that new car prices have seen some stabilization thanks to improved inventory levels and dealer incentives. Yet the used car market office remains unpredictable, fluctuating consistently and often erratically. Every day, potential buyers are bombarded with new challenges as they grapple with escalating prices and a shrinking pool of options. Owning a dependable vehicle is a significant need for most people, and yet the obstacles seem to escalate to new heights, leaving many feeling anxious and uncertain about their choices. Consumers' response. The current sentiment among consumers regarding the car market is nothing short of disheartening. Frustration hangs thick in the air like the fumes from an overheated engine on a hot summer day. For those who are stepping back into the car buying arena after a long hiatus, the sticker shock they experience can feel like a punch to the gut. Many folks fondly recall a simpler time when purchasing a vehicle filled them with excitement and anticipation. Think back to evenings spent dreaming about that new car smell and the thrill of the open road ahead. Jessica Caldwell, who leads Insights at Edmunds, astutely points out that many people's mindsets have been shaped by memories rooted in experiences from as far back as 2018. If you're tethering your expectations to those outdated notions of pricing, be ready for a harsh wake-up call when you confront the stark financial realities that dominate today's market. It's not just a case of sticker shock. This is a full-blown crisis that's shaping the decisions of everyday families. Anecdotal evidence suggests that more and more families are hitting the brakes on any thoughts of securing a new vehicle altogether. Instead, they are opting to hold on to their old models a little longer or searching for pre-owned cars that might fit their budgets. Can you imagine? One consumer shared a particularly exasperating tale of navigating the labyrinth of car dealerships, only to find that every vehicle within their price range was either completely sold out or priced out of reach, some even more than what they had initially budgeted for. What should be a straightforward financial transaction, a practical decision to enhance mobility, transforms instead into a grueling scavenger hunt, plagued by unpredictability and rapidly diminishing options. These economic pressures aren't merely numbers on a balance sheet, they carry profound emotional implications for families. Picture the scene, a family sitting around the dinner table, the weight of their financial decisions lingering in the air like an uninvited guest. Should they focus on securing a roof over their heads, prioritizing healthcare needs, or, heaven forbid, ensuring they have a reliable vehicle to navigate their daily lives? The battle of priorities looms large, casting shadows on household dynamics as parents grapple with the intense pressure of financial responsibilities. This tumultuous landscape for car buying underscores how intertwined these decisions are with other crucial aspects of their lives. The stress is palpable, and for many, it's a struggle that compounds their existing worries, creating an overwhelming sense of uncertainty in everyday choices. The narrative surrounding car purchases is increasingly complex, littered with emotional and financial landmines. Families, usually focused on securing the best deal, now find themselves sidestepping obstacles that can threaten to derail their entire financial well-being. Obtaining straightforward, reliable transportation shouldn't feel like an activity riddled with complications and anxiety, yet here we are, with families caught in this tense balancing act of needs versus wants, expenses versus savings. Car manufacturers and dealers also play a crucial role in this scenario. It's a significant shift that echoes throughout the entire industry. Consider this, the supply. Chain disruptions that followed the pandemic have created a perfect storm of artificially inflated prices coupled with dwindling inventory. For consumers, this translates into additional hurdles. Not only are they faced with higher costs for new vehicles, but the choices have narrowed remarkably. Buyers are often left feeling like they have limited agency in a market that seems to dictate the terms rather than the other way around. To add to the mixing pot of frustrations, there's the undeniable feeling among many potential buyers that they are being rushed into decisions decisions before they truly understand the market landscape. The pressure can be overwhelming. Imagine walking into a dealership with hope and excitement, only to feel that hope turn to disillusionment as you face each escalating price tag on the lot. The energy that used to accompany car shopping, fueled by dreams of freedom and adventure, is increasingly replaced with confusion and dashed expectations. In this evolving car buying landscape, it's essential to acknowledge that the emotions tied to such a major purchase have never been more prominent. While families chase the dream of owning a vehicle, they are simultaneously wrestling with the practicalities of their financial situations and the paradox of wanting a new car while facing a harsh economic environment. They are stuck navigating the tricky waters of what was once an exhilarating pursuit, one that now feels convoluted and laden with uncertainty. As we gaze into the future of the automotive market, the vibe is charged with anticipation and uncertainty, showcasing a landscape that's bound to be influenced by a myriad of factors. You might be wondering what this means for car buyers, right? Well, buckle up, because the forecast isn't just about prices or trends. It's about a significant transformation that's shaping the way we think about vehicles. Some industry analysts are optimistic, believing that vehicle prices might stabilize in the coming years. Others, however, warn that the road to normalization may be bumpy and filled with obstacles that could impact consumer experiences. The price surge hasn't appeared out of thin air. It's primarily been driven by ongoing supply chain disruptions, coupled with an insatiable consumer demand that has only intensified in the wake of the pandemic. So let's dive a little deeper and talk about what a stabilization of prices could actually look like. A new era of car ownership. So many experts are waving a cautious flag, suggesting that as supply chains recover and inventory levels improve, we might see a gradual stabilization in prices. But here's the catch. While some might hope for a return to those blissfully low pre-pandemic levels, the reality is likely to suffice at establishing a new equilibrium that incorporates current inflationary pressures as well as the increased costs of production. It's a dance of sorts, one that requires both consumers and manufacturers to adapt to this new reality. Prices may not drop drastically, but the market could find a more balanced state in which supply meets the evolving demand. Speaking of evolving demand, let's shift gears and explore the changing preferences of consumers. The landscape is not just about numbers, it's deeply connected to the way consumers are thinking right now. With rising interest rates and an air of economic uncertainty tightening around us, buyers are likely to prioritize affordability over those luxury features they might have once deemed essential. This shift doesn't merely scratch the surface. It could very well lead to a surge in demand for more economical models. Picture this: compact cars and hybrids could become the shining stars of the market as consumers strive to balance their budgetary constraints while still fulfilling their transportation needs. It's a practical choice, reflecting both the times we find ourselves in and a more conscious approach to spending. But wait, there's more to this automotive revolution than just price points and preferences. Shifting preference. The industry is on the brink of transformative technological innovations that are set to reshape our driving experiences dramatically. Electric vehicles and advancements in autonomous driving technology are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the automotive world. The push toward electrification is not just a passing trend, it's a sweeping movement that's redefining consumer expectations and altering market dynamics at a breathtaking pace. Let's talk specifics. Electric vehicles are gaining traction, and it's no surprise why. As battery technology continues to improve and the charging infrastructure expands, consumers are gradually warming up to electric vehicles, with many viewing them as a viable alternative to traditional gas guzzlers. The advent of generous incentives from both governments and manufacturers is making these eco-friendly vehicles more accessible to a broader audience than ever before. As per industry analysts, we could see electric vehicles account for a significant chunk of new vehicle sales by 2025. Now, that's a potent shift that could fundamentally alter the competitive landscape within the automotive sector. Not to be outdone, advancements in autonomous driving technology are carving out a new path for the future of mobility. Companies are pouring substantial investments into research and development, signaling a year of potential breakthrough innovations. With this kind of commitment, consumers will likely begin expecting features like advanced driver assistance systems to be standard rather than mere add-ons. It's all about what's becoming commonplace in consumer expectations. Think of it as a new bar being set for what buyers will be looking for when they hit the dealerships. The advent of these cutting-edge technologies may increasingly sway purchasing decisions as buyers gravitate towards brands that not only keep up with the trends, but also lead the charge in cutting-edge features. Now, let's pause for a moment and consider how these trends might overlap. The intersection of affordability, consumer preferences, and technological advancements creates a fascinating web of dynamics in the automotive market. Small, economical vehicles outfitted with the latest technologies could become the ultimate package for many buyers in this new climate. Imagine cruising in a compact electric vehicle, decked out with features that not only assist with driving, but also make the experience enjoyable and worry-free. It's an enticing vision, and it underscores how the automotive landscape is evolving to encompass a broader spectrum of needs and desires, from budget considerations to high-tech innovations. As we chart our course through this evolving automotive territory, it's essential to keep in mind the far-reaching implications of these trends. The drive toward electric vehicles and autonomous technologies is not just a passing fad. It represents a seismic shift, not only in how we perceive transportation, but also in how we interact with our vehicles. We are moving towards a future where the car buying experience feels less transactional and more about how vehicles fit seamlessly into the fabric of our increasingly connected lives. This transformation doesn't just end with consumer choices, it extends all the way to manufacturers and dealerships, which must adapt to these rising consumer expectations. The synchronized dance of consumer behavior and industry innovation will play a critical role in shaping what comes next in the automotive narrative, with the electrification of vehicles expected to accelerate further and autonomous features transitioning from luxury to necessity. It's an exhilarating time to be part of this sector. Policy and regulation. Government policies and regulations wield a considerable influence over the automotive market, shaping it in ways that are becoming increasingly evident. Today, as the world wrestles with mounting environmental concerns, regulations surrounding emission standards are tightening drastically. What does this mean for our roads and the vehicles we drive? It's simple. Change is on the horizon. Stricter emissions regulations don't just make headlines, they're pushing manufacturers to pour resources into cleaner technologies. This isn't just another industry shift, it's a revolution that fundamentally alters production costs and the pricing of vehicles. Picture this, as automakers scramble to align with these new rules, the price tag on traditional internal combustion engine vehicles might soar. Meanwhile, electric vehicles could be getting a financial edge thanks to government subsidies and incentives that make them increasingly appealing to consumers. Speaking of incentives, let's talk about the steps various governments are taking to jazz up electric vehicle adoption and lighten the financial load for first-time buyers. These efforts are more than just nice words. They come in several tangible forms that can really impact your wallet. Tax credits are a major player here. Many regions are rolling out significant tax breaks for those brave enough to leap into electric vehicle ownership. Imagine slashing a good chunk off that steep price with a simple form. Then there's the allure of cash rebates. Some states are offering direct cash back for those who purchase or lease an electric vehicle, opening doors that may have seemed firmly closed before. And it doesn't stop there. Financing assistance programs are also making their way into the mix, designed to help first-time buyers secure better financing terms. This kind of backing can be a game changer, acting as a catalyst in the vehicle purchasing process. So why do these initiatives matter? Because they don't merely encourage switching to electric, they reshape consumer behavior, making brand new vehicles more affordable and attractive. As the automotive landscape continues to evolve under the pressure of these policies and the growing demand for sustainability, the choices we make, both as consumers and as a society, will have lasting implications. The question is, are we ready to embrace this electrifying shift, or will we cling to the past? The answer could define the future of transportation, but what do you think? Are you feeling the pressure of these changes in your own car buying journey? Have you had your own experiences navigating this daunting landscape? We want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts in the comment below.